you like what you see, don't forget to smash that like button, share it, or subscribe. For all the latest Atlas info, sign up for our newsletter, shop.atlasrr.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And most importantly, enjoy the show.
All right, what's up, Atlas fans? We're here. It's the summer 2025 HO&N catalog. I'm pretty excited to announce. It's been a while, hasn't it? There,
it has been.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
And we have some pretty exciting projects that we're happy to bring to light after these long months, especially with a really exciting engine on the front cover. That's a pretty big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
And we have 1 second because I forgot to do something before we launch.
Oh, my goodness.
Eric, can you type in our beloved website on the screen?
That's really funny.
I can click download the catalog that we want to present to you guys.
I'd like that one. Yeah, that one too.
It would be very handy to have a catalog to show to you guys.
There we go. It's loading.
So I was too busy, uploading the renderings and everything of the good old CF-7.
So is this our first catalog with renderings in it? Like true renderings?
It is our first. No, we did renderings before. MP36, Metra cars.
But that's not exciting though. Well, I guess
not to this extent. So we'll just upload this to our presentations. Delete the old ones. Oh,
that's a cool. That one though.
Definitely don't want that. Get out of here. All right. I am.
There it is.
Slowly moving. But sorry, guys.
That's fine.
Is that it? Yep.
Not the one with the steam engine on.
Not the steamy boy. And here we go.
It'll take time. But in the meantime, so this is a pretty exciting catalog, summer 2025. Pre-order deadline for this one's August 27th, which we'll go over later in the presentation. We have some special guests to talk about some of the stuff in this catalog that we'll get to later.
One special guest.
The only special guest that we'll talk about later. But it's pretty cool product.
Without, sorry for the little delay, but we can add our beloved catalog now.
With the Allegheny CF-7 on the front. That's a nice scheme there.
It's Allegheny. So we hit you with the big announcement there. And then inside, we have our smaller announcements. Let me see if I can remember how to do the full page view. But anyhow, first announcement is N-Scale GP38-2 Phase 1. This is with the chicken wire grills in the back. That's what makes it a Phase 1 versus vertical grills. Whoa. People always ask me, what's the difference between GP38s? And you go on all day about it, but the biggest, easiest spotting feature for the -2s, at least, is the chicken wire versus the vertical grills.
Nice.
So, possibly. First time in N-Scale, we are adding ditch lights to the GP38-2. As you can see here, it's all modern schemes, starting with Alton Southern, nice little transfer service out in Ohio. Very cool paint schemes they have, and this will have front and rear ditch lights. Same with Amtrak and Phase 7, front and rear ditch lights, and same with Canadian National with the IC sublettering. So the IC sublettering is nice because people in the United States, these are spotted all the time around Chicagoland, and they're also spotted up in Canada. I got lots of pictures from I believe it was the Toronto area.
Yeah, they run around tons.
They're all over the place, and mix and match. And then the additional road names are Union Pacific Baby Wings, and you have the yellow sill stripe. Again, front and rear ditch lights, and a air conditioner unit on this one. And then Vermont Rail in the 2022 repaint, which is neat because it's different than the previous Vermont Rail we done on the GP38-2. It has a black roof now, some different lettering style. It's nice and clean looking. It's really nice what they did up there.
Well, it's VRS instead of Vermont Railway and
Vermont Rail System. Yeah, right.
Wasn't there there was a different 201 or something? Because they had Jeep 38s.
It looks significantly different even though it's like red with the white mountains, it's noticeably different than it was before.
Yeah.
So it's giving you that new image of the Vermont rail system, not railway.
Big railroad now.
Big old railroad.
Yep.
Speaking of big railroads, we have Norfolk Southern. This one also has an air conditioning unit. It's kind of lost there on the white page, but
Under the Union Pacific. Coincidence? I think not. That's kind of weird.
Oh yeah, UP-UNS. Well, merger might possibly happen.
Oh yeah.
Be crazy. But yeah, the front also front and rear ditch lights. This is in the thoroughbred scheme with the white sill stripe. Pretty cool. And then going off that one, we have what the NS went to essentially was the Wheeling Lake Erie. So patch job here. Wheeling Lake Erie has 3 of these running around. So we did all 3 numbers for you guys. And again, front and rear ditch lights, also an AC unit on the roof of the Wheeling Lake Erie. And then since we're talking about AC units, the CSX, YN3, front and rear ditch lights again. And then this has the RV style AC units.
Yeah, the round AC, not the square.
Not
like
the squared off ones like the rest of them in this run. So
front rear ditch lights on these ESU sound. These are pretty awesome engines.
yeah, big time upgrades on these.
Yeah, huge.
And I forgot to mention, also accurate nose headlight for the Canadian National and plated high headlight. So we did a significant number of ditch lights, nose headlights, and now we have RV antennas, RV AC units, and the normal what do they call those? Vapor drip AC units.
Drip, yeah. Well, N-scalers rejoice. That's a pretty good run there.
Along with prototypical horns for each road name.
Whoa.
So, yeah,
I see there's some different horns there and the renderings and all that, all the doodads. That's pretty cool there.
So very excited for these. People have been asking forever. You know, that I think our Jeeps were the biggest criticism of not having ditch lights is because you need it for switching and yard duty, and it's just very cool. So Jeeps with ditch lights and N-scale. Who would have ever thought? Very exciting stuff.
Very exciting. But I will talk about something more exciting. These are the N-scale U23B locomotives in a plethora of different schemes. And it's super exciting. There's some kind of rare birds in this one. It's pretty cool. So we'll start with the Conrail Express. So that's the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern variant there. Didn't they have this for like 2 whole days back in the day?
Yeah, it was like maybe 2 to 3 days, maybe a week. And then it
got, unfortunately, it met its demise. But a lot of the Reading and Northern fans kind of look back at this unit. Conrail Express was a pretty cool program they did back in the day.
Very cool service.
And it's a cool scheme.
It is. I wish it was on more things.
Just those and switchers.
Just this U23B, and I think only one SW8 or 9.
There's one around in Maryland
but it's
somewhere.
Still going. But yeah, no, unfortunately, the Reading Northern and Conrail Express did not last very long at all.
But it can last a long time on your layout since it's in the catalog right now. So we'll move on to the next one. One near and dear to my heart. I visited this one in January. That's Naugatuck Railroad 2203. It's a former P&W unit, which was a former Conrail unit. And it's a really cool engine. Still around today. It pulls trains every so often. Shout out to Mr. Orion and the crew up there at the Railroad Museum in New England for showing me around it. Once I saw it, couldn't get enough of the thing. It's a really cool locomotive.
Ultra cool.
But we'll move on. We have Santa Fe, as well as Conrail. We have L&N Family Lines, and then we have the L&N Family Lines 2803, which has a really special scheme on the long hood. And sorry if I'm going too fast.
No, you're good.
That's the Louisville shop scheme on there, which we had a slide.
We had a few slides.
A few slides of this one that it's a really cool twist.
Yeah, it is.
On the L&N.
Nicely decorated unit. And why they chose a U23B, who knows? But
they were cool engines back in the day. It was pretty cool. Like, I don't know, anyone had a U23B,
I'm
right?
guessing L&N shopped their GEs there.
And that's why you need one on your layout. But besides the point, we have Milwaukee Road. We have the OG P&W, as well as Western Pacific, which this has the stepped WP on the nose. That's a special new scheme that we haven't done before.
It is.
Which is pretty cool. So there's ditch lights as appropriate on these engines.
Appropriate. So I think there's just Conrail Express, Naugatuck, and P&W.
Have ditch lights.
And
they look awesome.
and they look very, very cool. If you bought our B23s with ditch lights, they will look similar to that. I'm trying to figure out what looks best for you guys so you can see us and the catalog.
Those are another engine, ESU sound in those. You guys, your N scalers, you know your pin arrangement there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, more exciting things than N scale. Big fan favorite right here in N scale is the N Trinity 53-foot spine cars in 3 and 5 unit sets. And we got a couple new schemes for you. For the most part, these are just trailer train, but we have some variations of trailer train for you. We have as delivered, which is just new numbers. And then we have a new paint scheme, which is the TTX with conspicuity stripes. I was digging around. If you guys can find any 3-unit sets with forward-thinking logos, I'd appreciate it if you send it to us. But right now, for this run, we couldn't find any with forward-thinking logos on them. And also, I found out that the 3-unit sets are a lot less common than the 5-unit sets.
Who would have known? I didn't know that at all.
You would think they would make way more 3-unit sets because it's less to make.
3 units? Yeah, it's not a whole train.
5-unit sets dominate. There's like 200, 300 of those, and there's only, I think, 94 or something of the 3-unit sets.
Well, the more you know.
Yeah.
$5 fact.
Yep. Oh, I have it in the blurb actually on the page. 250 5-unit sets.
Those, I love those blurbs you guys do. There's some cool factoids in there.
I love the factoids.
Yep. $5 facts.
$5 facts. 250 5-unit sets exist, and that's why there's more schemes on them too. So for the 5-unit sets, we have the as delivered look with the TTX speed lettering, and then below we have a new paint scheme. We did a little courtesy of taking a little screenshot of the close-up of what's different on it. So you see that TTX in red, we call it the forward-thinking logo because there's an arrow on it. And it's pretty cool. It's a patch over the speed scheme, so that gives you a new paint scheme on your 5-unit spine car sets. We'll have something later in the catalog that'll match perfectly. Well, the catalog's been out for a day, so we can spill the beans. But and a few items down, we'll have a 53-foot trailer, Reefer trailer, actually, that will pair perfectly with these Trinity spine cars. And I see these Reefer trailers on these spine cars all the time.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the spine cars. They're hard to find. Speaking of hard to find.
This is one of the rarest box cars of all time. This is the N-scale 40-foot PS1 box car. It's just such a unique car that I don't know how many railroads had this thing.
I think everybody did.
I think everyone had one of these. It is the old pickup truck box car. But there's some pretty cool schemes on there. So we'll start with Chicago and Eastern Illinois. We have Chicago and Northwestern Patch, which is a patch Rock Island. Really cool. One that's near and dear to my heart, Lake Superior and Ishpeming. I don't think this is a railroad that's represented enough, honestly.
No, it's really not.
They had some cool stuff.
They did. They had all
stuff.
sorts of equipment.
And they had Yield boxcar.
They did?
We have the Seaboard Airline Silver Star. Seaboard was pretty cool. They kind of represented and advertised their passenger trains on freight cars. So it's a pretty flashy looking boxcar there.
Stands out among all the brown boxcar red boxcars.
That's a typical, they were just
at
brown
least it's silver and
boxcars.
Gives some life to your consist.
Yeah, they'll look real nice. Speaking of colorful, there's the Boston and Maine in the big blue there. I like that a lot. That's like a quintessential New England.
Yeah, you have to have that.
Columbus and Greenville in their
green.
Nice green. You got some script on there.
Yeah.
Grand Trunk Western, another near and dear to my heart in the Midwest there with the awesome Leaf logo. And then the Pacemaker.
Pacemaker's a classic.
Shout out to the Historical Society for New York Central for the help on Pacemaker fonts and all that stuff. Dr. Scott will probably allude to that later. He's not our special guest, just saying. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But he'll allude to that later. But that's a really cool scheme. Pacemaker's very flashy.
Super flashy.
And you need like a lot of those for the train.
That Columbus Greenville, I didn't actually notice the script on there at first. And that's
$5 fact.
Pretty cool. Through the heart of Dixie.
That's like a $3 fact. But these boxcars are pretty cool. That steam era. Maybe look really cool with the certain 284 locomotive in the previous catalog that you saw.
They're really nice. And if you're an N-scaler, transitionary guy, and you haven't bought an Atlas PS1 boxcar yet, it's a great model. It's comparable to anything in our master level or better. All separately applied parts and metal wheels. And
they're really nice cars.
They're really, really nice cars. Can't say enough about them. And speaking of nice cars.
Yeah, then you get the cool one.
The Pressureaide. So we'll just say did it like HO guys. Don't skip ahead. This is for you too. Same row names, HO and N scale. We lead off with Axel Nobel, which is a Catalyst 6 company, and they have a really cool shadow figure on their car, which is kind of interesting. It's honestly, it's one of my favorites of the whole run, just because of the figure and the logo. It's a little different. And I think this was one of like one or two. It was a really small series, maybe 5 cars, I think. It wasn't too many cars. So that's a little tidbit for you guys. And then we have a Mazo, which is a corn processor. So what they would do, this car would haul cornstarch in powder form, hence the Pressureaide to blow the cornstarch out.
Well, yeah, it was only like 5 to 10 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
As a slight, just for the offloading, it helps it go through the pipes and whatnot.
Any sort of light, flourly commodity can go in these, like talcum powder, baby powder, all sorts of powders, flour.
Yeah, with the unique Pressureaide decals and stuff, you can tell right away.
Yep, and then we move into Cypress. They did all sorts of chemicals. I see them on our beer can tank cars. I see them on other hoppers that we have. Pretty popular company. Then we have Fluid Cracking Catalytics, and the Catalytics with the K. This one's cool. This was a big billboard. Fluid Cracking Catalytics, used for making compounds and all sorts of good stuff for polymers and everything. Again, just a powder they use for industrial ingredients. So if you have factories on your land, you need these cars. Speaking of talcum powder, we have Montana Talc Company, which is a nice, they have a nice logo on these. It's got little stripes going through their logo. Interesting one. These were hard to find. We had to dig up a bunch of slides for these because there weren't too many. Again, small series. Actually, a lot of small series in this run because a lot of these logos we had to really do like some good R&D to find
major digging.
Yep. Some less major digging. The Andersons. These we had modern shots of these cars with the ACF Venturi logo, those blue wings. ACF refers to them as Venturi. So that's a little tidbit from Rob Pisani, former Atlas R&D guy, told us that. Also ACF, former employee. And we have Crestar to end it. Crestar's new numbers. We had a bunch of requests for Crestar. Somebody needs that for their layout, so they hit us up and we listened. So again, HO and N scale, same road names. Pressureaides, must have. Just common car, common commodity. You need it, we need it.
You need it, we need it.
Same with these cabooses.
Yes, HO and N, but there are slight differences, but we'll go over the N right now. So this is the Master Extended and Standard Vision Caboose. These have been around for quite a while. It is like, again, a quintessential car.
It is a legacy Atlas product. Like we've been offering these cabooses forever and ever.
But likewise, these cabooses, in the modern day are around a lot. I mean, there's a lot of railroads, which we'll go through, that
I
use
see
these.
A couple of them that were painted within the last couple of years.
Yeah. So we'll go through. So we look at the BC Rail. Is that the Expo 86 logo? I love that logo.
That's the Expo 86 logo on there.
That's pretty cool. Red, white, and blue, look pretty good with your America 250 train next year or something. That's pretty neat. We have the Burlington Northern with Conspec stripes in there. We have the chassis system. We have the Conrail. Now, this is not like Conrail 1980s Conrail.
This is
Conrail shared
Conrail
assets that we see.
And a lot of people don't know that about Conrail. Is Conrail still exists as a company? They actually do own some rolling stock and maintenance away equipment and all of that good stuff, but you don't really see it as pronouncedly. So Conrail still exists as a shared assets company, and basically they lease track to Norfolk Southern and CSX in places where monopoly rules dictate that CSX or Conrail can't buy the trackage. So Conrail still serves an important purpose in the tri-state area and a bunch of metropolitan cities around the country. Actually, I think there's Conrail trackage.
Yep, and they run past their office every single day.
They do
with an NS Jeep, but it's a Conrail crew on Conrail track.
Yeah. And one day it'll be NS Jeep, another day it'll be CSX Jeep, and they kind of alternate. And yeah, it's Conrail employees operating NS equipment.
But that Caboose runs around today. It looks just as good as that. It's a pretty cool looking car.
And I believe it sits in the touch and yard most of the time on the Raritan Central.
But if you're a Jersey fan or Conrail fan, definitely have to have one.
Yeah, if you're a New Jersey Conrail guy, you need it.
Yep. So we'll go next to the DODX, a little bit more blasé.
Yeah.
But you still see these around. It's pretty cool.
You do. And then every once in a while they get mixed in.
Yep. Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah, and it has conspics, so it's 2005 and later. And yeah, so if you have anything that's military oriented on your train, you might want to plug this Caboose on the back.
That, or it's a really good canvas for a freelance Caboose.
It is.
But we'll go down. We have a DuPont, which is a little flashier. This is a really cool car. It's pretty sharp.
I like
typical scheme. It's pretty nice.
And I believe we might be offering more from this train in the future.
Perfect.
Because there's some matching box cars and tank cars that we can do.
Well, look out for matching box cars and tank cars in the future.
Yeah.
We have family lines or a Seaboard, but that's pretty cool to match a U23B. And then we have the Mass Coastal with the lightning stripe. This is like a new car.
Really
It got painted like last year or the year before, and it looks really cool.
I like all Mass Coastals.
Mass Coastal, Cape Cod Central, like they're a very cool railroad.
It is.
And they're like they're very local. They're like a family operated kind of operation.
Yeah, touristy with, freight equipment, freight customers as well. And they have nice equipment, they derated.
They take care of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Some interesting stuff. EMD products. Yeah, they got good stuff.
But we'll move on. So we have the Union Pacific, but this is the Denver Rio Grande Western Pikes Peak Historical Society repaint. So the story behind this one is there was a car, a Caboose, that was not the best looking of the fleet. So the Historical
Society,
Society,
really bad shape.
So the Historical Society offered to repaint it for UP to kind of clean up, and it looks just as good as this in the catalog, and it's pretty cool to use it as a shoving platform. Hence the plated over windows, and it fits the bill here, the theme that we have, kind of the still in service cabooses.
It does.
Touristy kind of thing there. Pretty cool. But this is a bread and butter, making its money every day, shoving platform.
Yeah, still working for Union Pacific every day. And what town is it out there?
Couldn't tell you. Cody would know.
Yeah, he would know.
But
Silver Springs.
Silver Springs.
They call it the Silver Springs Caboose because it's on
all
the local jobs come out with it on it. So, UP fans in Colorado, that's yours right there.
But these were all the extended vision cabooses. So now we'll move on to the standard vision cabooses. Super similar, but the cupola doesn't go over the side. It just stays in profile. So we'll go to NS. We have Norfolk Southern. That's a really cool caboose. Oh, there's a couple of these still around, aren't they? There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this was a more modern, recent. I think it's used as a shoving platform out in Ohio.
Yeah.
So it's cool. They put the oversized. That decal looks like it's from a Gevo or something.
It's like big.
Yeah, I don't think it was intended for a caboose. I think that was a locomotive decal that they slapped on there.
Probably former N&W.
Yeah.
Then we'll move on to another former N&W caboose, which is the Belvedere and Delaware River, which is the 595, which you can still see this in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, every so often.
Yeah, they hide it.
Sometimes it's on a tourist train, when it's there, but it's a cool looking caboose with a cool logo. So
no, we love our Beldell and Black River equipment.
Yep. So. And I think that's the first time we did a Beldell anything. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
We done Beldell like in Pensy and but
not like modern
not
era.
Like Beldell.
Yeah. Our version of Beldell.
It is.
But that's the standard extended vision caboose. Very nice.
And we go from that to another Atlas Classic legacy type of product. We have our Trainman 50-foot double door boxcar, and we have one new scheme for you because we ran this so many times. We wanted to revisit some classics for you. So the new scheme is TP&W with the Lynx East and West logo on saying on it. Nice little car. Caught Cody's attention as he was working on this project, and he also picked out Duluth South Shore and Atlantic for you with the Speed DSS on there. I think that's really sharp, along with Erie. Transition era person, you need that. And then if you're not a transition era, you're talking IPD era, 70s, 80s. ICG ran these cars into the 70s and 80s because you can see the consolidated COTS box on there, as well as MKT, also with the later 70s, 80s paint scheme. So you got orange, green, and then you have a red, Great Northern, the big iceberg style font. I love that Great Northern font. And then we have Louisville and Nashville with the classic Dixie line script on there.
And some cool heralds on there, cool schemes, and very colorful run.
Colorful run. And what's great about these cars is even if you're a master modeler or you're a novice just starting out, these cars still look good. They're tooled a long time. They're old cars, but they serve their purpose. They just look good, and they're affordable. We have a $28 MSRP on these. You go to your dealer, you'll find them for even less. And yeah, they're just affordable, nice little cars, and nice. They just operate great, and they're, it's a Trainman car.
Old box car, and put it in the consist.
Sometimes you just need a colorful box car. That's
all the fun. Oh wow! So I get to talk about the new model, which is a Master N53 Modern Reefer. Oh, did we lose the camera?
I forgot to switch.
Okay, perfect. I was ready. I was ready to jump into action.
People are like, "What's new?"
What's new? This Modern Reefer trailer is new. That's what's new. And these are pretty cool. I was told on the way to lunch one day that these are pretty spectacular.
It's pretty spectacular.
They're like
yesterday
on the road, like all of them.
I was pointing them out as we were going out for our lunch.
Every truck has one of these. That's cool.
They're really, really common. I don't know the exact quantity built, but
a lot.
They're everywhere. And the biggest spotting feature, as you guys can see, are the horizontal lines on them. That separates them from other dry vans and other reefer trailers that are, they flat or riveted vertically. These are, horizontally. So
that's pretty cool.
These easy to spot. Literally every, meat company or any perishable food that needs to be frozen buys these reefer vans, and they're everywhere.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, we'll start with we have Clipper. Really cool scheme on there. It's really colorful, red, white, and blue. We have England, which I see these all the time. England, like that's so cool. I love their logo. It's very cool,
especially in Pennsylvania. I feel like every highway
all the time. And then we have Frozen Food Express. But Frozen Food Express. It's all over the trailer. It looks really cool. They're green and white. We have Prime Intermodal, and it looks like that and the Frozen have the wind skirts.
Yeah.
Which is, I remember when those started like going on there, like it's pretty
fuel efficiency, man.
Cool styling.
It is cool. Yeah. So these have wind skirts and tire racks, not pictured. And I mean, we could bring the guys real quickly to the other page, the order form page.
There you go.
On the bottom, you can see a little 3D rendering of our 53-foot reefer trailer. And we have two styles of doors. We got a stainless steel flat style door, and then we have the stainless steel blanketed door, which kind of looks like a quilt. Like diamond plated.
And the fridge units.
Yeah, and the reefer units. We have 3 different reefer units for you guys, which consist of the early style carrier, the late style carrier, and Thermo King.
Yeah.
So a bunch of variations on these trailers.
A trailer. Look really good on your
spine car.
Yeah, it's amazing. But Prime Intermodal looks awesome. We have Go-To Logistics as well as Western in the blue.
Classy.
These are really cool cars. Or trailers, sorry.
Very cool trailers. And they're going to pair great with the 53-foot Trinity spine cars. And the best part about these trailers is they have a great price.
Amazing price.
$29.95, excuse me. And it's jam-packed with all that detail. You can see the rendering again.
Now, wouldn't it
really
be
nice model
if there was some way to pull that? One day. But these are nice. They have a lot of detail on there and a lot of variation, which is pretty cool for a brand new trailer.
Brand new trailer to put on top of your spine cars, because we all need more trailers. And then we reached our end point for end scale, which brings up our Atlas Collector Series items. And our first Collector Series item in this run, or this catalog, is the EJ&E 703, which is GP38-2. And this, EJ&E ordered these new, but they sold, I think they got 5 from EMD, brand new. And then they ended up selling most of them to Birmingham Southern, which they kind of ran patch jobbed for a long time until they they got like I think they're on the Bay line now, actually, fully repainted. But EJ&E decided to keep 703. 703 is still with EJ&E, which is now CN. So you see two flavors of it. You see the EJ&E with the silver trucks and no conspicuity stripe.
Conspicuity.
Yeah.
Or conspec, yeah.
I'm just going to say conspic stripe. I always tongue twist myself when I say the full thing. Yeah. So, yeah, no yellow stripe, silver trucks, very, front and rear ditch lights. So it's good from like, I would say 96 to like 2005 would serve you if you want, you're an EJ&E fan. And then if you want to do present day, we have the CN flavor of it with the black trucks, because when CN shopped this locomotive, they didn't care which trucks they put back on it. So I got black trucks from probably, I would assume, a CN Jeep of some sort. And then CN added the conspic stripe, and you can see that the logo is a little bit faded, and the orange will be a little bit faded to, match what it looks like today, present day, on the CN. And it's still, in Chicagoland. CN was nice enough not to put it somewhere else.
I know, right where it belongs.
Yeah,
very cool.
Sometimes railroads, they acquire another railroad
and they end up in like California or something.
Yeah, they put it on like the totally opposite side of the line.
But those are nice looking engines. I like it's cool that the modern day version has like the warning labels and the conspec stripes on the frame, black trucks, like.
Yep, and EJ&E kept their locomotives very plain. As,
all of them were super
always.
Plain. Yeah, but. You can tell them about the spine car since you're at it.
I'll tell them about the spine car since I'm at it. And so what makes these spine cars limited edition collector items is, they're not made up either. They're legit. We have photos of these. They're just one-offs. They're unique little interesting things that we noticed. So the first spine car we have here for you is a 5-unit set with a TTX forward-thinking logo and with a black background. So usually TTX, they repaint the logo area yellow and they put on the new logo. In this case, they painted it black and they put the red forward-thinking logo on top, which I've never seen before. And it's pretty interesting. It's cool. It makes it unique. So I caught these right behind our warehouse here in Hillside, New Jersey, on the Lehigh line. So I thought that was really interesting. And in the same train, there was a spine car with SLSF markings, which is a BNSF.
Frisco.
Yeah, Frisco BNSF marking, which I thought was really interesting. I looked it up, talked to some freight car guys. They're like, yeah, that's just a one-off. That's the only one that exists. So SLSF 1000 is a one-of-one BNSF 53-foot spine car.
That is so unique, like when railroads use like the old reporting marks on modern equipment.
Yep, and just I'm guessing BNSF, for whatever reason they acquired this 5-car set.
There it is.
So 2 very interesting spine car sets for you guys to order.
Nice.
Yeah, and that completes our end scale section, and then we move into the CF7s, which everybody wants to hear us talk about. And
so we'll start talking about our new model for HO. That's the CF-7 Locomotive. We did a soft little teaser and Train Fest last year, but it's finally in the catalog. You have the schemes on there, so we'll kind of dive into it. So quick background, the CF-7 Santa Fe had a bunch of F7 full car body locomotives that they had probably from the 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
That era, pulling like the Super Chief freight trains. And they were looking for some kind of upgrade for them. They needed, the versatility.
Well, they didn't need the F units anymore.
No, but they needed like a road switcher variant. Or in that.
So they could have still used a 4-axle, they still could use a 4-axle locomotive, but they didn't need a hooded cowled unit. So, the long hood, narrowness, and, made it ideal for switching. And that's why you see these funky windows on CF7s too, because
they have like some of the earlier windows that look like F unit windows and the round cabs and
really large windows too.
Cool. And in our studies, like no two were the same. Like they were very unique engines.
So we have some renderings for you guys, which we can
so we'll just talk about this. So we have the Allegheny Railroad. We're doing 2 numbers of Allegheny. That is a beautiful scheme. I did some soft teasing for this when I went over to Pittsburgh this weekend, and the fans rejoiced out there. Allegheny Railroad's near and dear to a lot of people in that region. And they're very cool looking engines. The CF7 wears these schemes quite well.
Yeah.
To see a Hans. These are fabulous renderings.
They are.
They look amazing. In-house.
And I will...
A little Amtrak.
Why don't you shuffle through these renderings? I think our camera just died. So
Did it really?
Yeah.
I see it.
No, it's not doing anything.
Oh, okay. Back. There we are. Okay.
Nobody noticed because they're too busy looking at these renderings.
So we're looking at these renderings. So Amtrak had a few of the CF7s, and they had different variations. This is the one without torpedo tubes.
I did 2 colors of Amtrak because the lighter one looks better.
But these are really cool engines, and again, the CF7 it went from Santa Fe and it became like the regional short line locomotive of the 80s.
It did,
and 90s, and early 2000s. But we have our Santa Fe, but we have Ashley Drew and Northern.
Ashley Drew, that's
which is a cool one. They had 2. I believe they only had 2.
Lasted forever too.
I was on the phone with someone the other day that had a family connection to this railroad. They kind of told me the tidbits, like the stripes were upside down when they first came out with it. Yeah, when they first painted it, it was supposed to be the other way. But these engines, they wanted to go up, but they went down. So they ended up like that. Then the 15, 14 had the stripes reversed, and then they did it to the same.
I noticed that when we were doing the artwork for these.
Yeah.
The stripes on the front, the front nose didn't match on either number. They're both different.
They're both different, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, this engine wears that really well. There's a lot of physical features on these. I know the fans that you went in and kind of upgraded those, and there was stuff like wipers and they're really cool engines.
Oh, I have the old Hans renderings in here.
That's fine. The catalog has the pictures of the newest versions of the renderings.
Yeah.
But we'll go. We have Black River and Western. We had 41 and 42. The 41 is in the disco, we'll say the disco lettering with the typical green, black, and yellow scheme that Black River had back in the day.
Very cool.
How the 42 is kind of more of a Santa Fe variation that it wore for quite a while. That engine wore 3 distinct schemes, but we were starting with the earlier scheme on the 42. So a lot of the New Jersey fans are pretty happy.
I'll show these guys the updated rendering with the AC unit on it.
There we go. Yeah, with the AC unit.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like, it doesn't have the details I had on there.
But Black River looks pretty good. I'm very happy. A lot of Black River fans here. And then we'll move on. We have the Blue Mountain and Reading, the BM&R, not mistaken for Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern. This is kind of the early version. Was it the 600, 601? Or maybe the 602? I don't know.
I think it's 601, 602.
Line 600, 601.
601.
Boom.
There you go.
Mr. John will be happy with me. Thanks to our friends we have out there in the Reading land, John and Russell. They sent us a paint chip from a CF7.
They did, yeah. We have that obscure
that
blue,
weird,
purple.
Interesting blue. They wanted to match what the Blue Mountains look like in the morning. So we have a paint chip from the 1983 as well as a CF7 locomotive. So we will try to get the color right as best we can. Very cool, and again, wears it very well.
Yeah, and I dare somebody to say that's not the right color because
we have a paint chip.
We have a paint chip
from the railroad.
They'll still say it's the wrong color.
But now we get back. So what's a CF7 run without Santa Fe in its yellow bonnet? They all have the quad stacks, and that's just a great scheme.
Yeah, no, Santa Fe. You gotta include it, and
you have to.
We'll include some sort of flavor in every run of CF7s that we do of Santa Fe.
Now, some of these engines have warning beacons on them. There's different horn arrangements, AC units. The fans are amazing on there. They have just really cool detail that's going to be on
the little
these
L brackets.
The L bracket
on the stanchions. Yeah, they're cool.
So for background, we bought like as many books as we could on the CF7, and I didn't realize how much reading that actually was.
Everybody had them. Well, every short line and regional. Yeah,
these went everywhere. And you throw a dart at a map and it'll anywhere. CF7 most likely went there.
Yeah, so this is something we want to run a lot and do. Atlas always takes a lot of pride in doing short lines and regionals and representing the little guy. So we felt like this was a great locomotive for us because we're not afraid to do some obscure short line and
that has
has three customers,
but they have their fan base.
Yeah,
they have their following.
And I'm like, I just collect random short line locomotives because I think they're unique, they're cool, they make good discussion pieces. So,
well, I mean that CF-7 run, that's some good hitters on that one.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna get them all. So we'll see how that works.
I definitely need a few.
But we'll move on to the MP36 Locomotive. Another
MP36s are back.
Heavily requested engine.
Heavily requested, doing the paint schemes that we didn't do the first time around that you guys really, really want. That which includes the Metra with the black roof, because when these things go by, they get all they're pumping the exhaust out.
Oh, they go forward and backward.
So silver roof is not so good when it's running all day long and
under a covering in a station.
Yeah.
They go to Chicago. They got to sit inside.
So Metra discovered that their silver roofs kind of got soot all over them, so they started painting the MP36 with black roofs.
They look sharp,
which is how you see most of them today. There's some silver roof ones still running around, but most of them got repainted with black roofs.
Black roof looks sharp.
It does look. It looks more stealthy. It's like cool. And then speaking of cool, we got the Metra State of Illinois, and you got all these like little county and state logos on there.
When did this one come about?
I want to say this one was painted up 2021, 22.
Looks really nice.
It is really, yeah.
It's a really cool engine.
It's ultra cool. And I've never caught it as many times as I've been to Chicago.
Neither have I.
I've
never seen it.
I think it's, one of these trips I'm going to get it. And speaking of unique locomotives, we have the Metrolink with the PTC decal. This is kind of when PTC was first coming out, Metrolink had some incidents with, train accidents and everything, and they really wanted to show off that they're equipping the locomotives with PTC. So they had this big nose decal made up and put on 891, and it's a one-off. It's a 101. So 891 has this huge PTC logo on the nose, and then which it still has. It's been on there forever. And then another cool thing that Metrolink is doing, and this is more recent, this is like 2022, 23 onwards, still on them today, are these renewable fuel decals that they put on the fuel tanks. So we actually still have some of the first round of Metrolink in stock here at Atlas. If you're looking, don't get price gouged on eBay or something. Come to us, ask your dealer. We still have a couple pieces in stock of Metrolink. So.
Yep, a Metrolink. It'd be the perfect Christmas present.
It would. So if you're looking to order these unique paint schemes of Metrolink and you want a plain one, we still have a few pieces left. And then we have a Front Runner, which is an all new paint scheme for us. We have
nice red, white, and blue.
Yeah, we have the Front Runner
UTA.
Their normal paint scheme with the red, white, and blue wrap. And then we have their special paint scheme for the 15th anniversary of the UTA, which is really cool. And these were made in collaboration with the UTA. One of our people here went out to Utah and he befriended some UTA people, and they helped us out with material and getting licenses and all that good stuff.
Yep, we appreciate their help on that. There's a lot of requests for the many schemes that the MP36 wears, and there's some that we can do, some that we can't do. So we're happy that to introduce the UTA to the lineup now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so UTA's in there now with proper licensing and everything, and then we have one new numbers, and that's our Metra with the silver roof. Doing additional numbers of that because
you do the MP36, you can't do. You gotta have Metra.
Gotta have Metra. All right, that concludes our MP36, and then we have
We're back to the U23B, and we are going to talk about this because we actually have some different paint schemes in here than the N scale. There's so many paint schemes on this that it was hard to pare it down, but we decided to start off with Finger Lakes. There's a really cool scheme on the Finger Lakes engine.
It is.
We haven't done.
A certain sales manager insisted that we do it.
And have to do Finger Lakes.
You have to.
Because I follow a certain Facebook page. I would greatly appreciate this.
I was going to say, I went to social media and I already saw a pile of people excited about this particular locomotive. Yeah.
Sometimes I like to just peruse the social media, my freelance guys out there. And I'm like, hey, what's cool to them? What's cool? And this is pretty cool. This engine still runs around and it has its own following up there. It's got the pseudo LV stripes there. So.
Yeah, and it will go great with the other Finger Lakes equipment that we brought in before, like B23s. I think in 2023 they were our arrival.
Yep. And that New York Central inspired scheme.
Yeah.
So gotta get your hands on Finger Lakes. Love it. We have the L&N family lines, like we talked about in N scale, as well as the South Louisville shops variation of the family line scheme. We talked about that. Lovely scheme on there. Looked at some slides, had to do it. So here it is.
There it is. And then
so the Naugatuck 2203, again, as we talked about in N scale. Well, I'm an HO guy. We're an HO guy. We got to put it in HO. Make it bigger. It's a cool engine.
It is cool.
Now we have the Reading Blue Mountain and Northern, or the Reading and Northern as it says. It's the 2392.
And what's really cool about the last two schemes you talked about and the Finger Lakes, first time ever, U23B with ditch lights.
Yes, big deal.
And metal couplers as well.
Metal couplers. Wait a minute. Wait, hold the phone.
Yeah,
so you're telling me that I can go pre-order my U23B with metal couplers and ditch lights?
And ditch lights. And not just that, etched metal windshield wipers.
I cannot contain my excitement.
So, yeah, it went from here to here. Like, it's
raise the roof.
Raising the bar.
That's pretty cool.
No,
so that's some good upgrades on that. It's
going to look really nice, along with the grayscale and the radius. It's
real.
Yeah.
That's epic.
It's jazzed up.
That is. I'm jazzed up for that.
Yeah, no, metal couplers, etched metal windshield wipers, and
heck yeah,
ditch lights.
See that? We can do that.
Yeah, we can do things.
We'll move on. So we have Conrail because we love Conrail. Providence and Worcester. Like the sauce. And we have Western Pacific with the stepped WP on the nose. Again, that is a new scheme that we've never done for our fans out there.
We haven't.
There are different horns. We have the wipers. We have the scale or the metal couplers. So this is a great model.
Prototypical brass horns, etched metal, windshield wipers, metal couplers, and ditch lights.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a nice U20B.
That's a great U23B.
Yeah.
With ESU sound, typical. I know it says the 8-pin plug, but it's a 21-pin plug.
That's definitely a 21-pin plug.
So it is a 21-pin ESU plug. It's going to sound awesome.
Update that on our website.
As good as it looks. And we're going to move right along because what else? You have a commuter engine in this catalog. You're going to have commuter cars.
Commuter cars. And what better commuter cars than Christmas commuter cars?
Whoa.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I took a ride in these cars not that long ago, July 4th. They ride pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, you went out to Chicagoland.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're nice. Yeah, they're cool cars. So we got the Operation North Pole in collaboration with Operation North Pole themselves and Metra. Operation North Pole provided the art files to us. They're very kind, nice people over there. We thank you. And this is going to be great. So this is sold as a 3-pack, and you will get 3 cars from the 2016 Operation North Pole set.
And I'm pretty sure I have high authority that there could be a matching locomotive.
There could be. We're working with another model railroader manufacturer and getting possibly in matching F40 done for these cars.
If you get that matching F40 done, you know where to get the cars.
Yep.
It's in our catalog, and it looks really cool. We got 2 coaches and a cab car.
Yeah,
sure.
So those are gonna. I can't wait to see the samples of these coming.
Yeah,
they're gonna be cool. So North Pole pack, and then of course we got to do more regular Metra cars for you guys
with different numbers.
So new numbers and Operation North Pole, and then at the end of the catalog we'll have some collector series items.
Whoa,
on these Metra cars, and like them, hate them, we'll show them to you.
I like them. But we'll move on. So we have a guest star for this. Scott. So we're going to talk about our HO Modernized Heavyweight Coach. These are brand new cars, 4-axle passenger cars.
Yeah,
Heavyweight.
Scott, we'll let you run the show here.
All right, as long as you run the slides, we're good.
Okay.
Yep, the Modernized passenger coaches coming to you from Penn Station in the 30s. Back here. The Modernized passenger coaches really were the ways of the railroads essentially trying to say, hey, we've already bought these things. Let's keep them going for a number more years. Because, of course, service changes, the customer needs change and everything else. And so what a lot of people did, a lot of the roads did, was start taking their older cars that they'd gotten around like 1910, 1920 and start upgrading them by adding things like air conditioning or better seating or other types of features, changing the bathrooms around, for example. And sometimes when newer cars came in, they decided to start relegating what used to be the top line cars into commuter service. And so certain changes we made to cars, and they were essentially modernized both to go with newer trains and also to satisfy commuter type runs. New York Central was one of the railroads that did a lot of this with their cars. And indeed, our single window heavyweight coaches are based on New York Central type designs. And again, I shout out to the New York Central Historical Society for a lot of the background information and some drawing files and a few hundred other bits and pieces from their archive to allow us to really bring these cars to you. What the railroads did in many cases was you'd add air conditioning. So yeah, you don't have to open the windows. They would seal the windows up and make them thermal windows, so thermopane windows. So you'd have these rounded edges that you'd see on the New York Central car or on the Penn Central right below it. Notice that it lasted through the Penn Central era as well. These things actually went from going in the 1910s up through sometimes the 60s, the 70s, and a few of them rolled in through the 80s. And you can still see a bunch on tourist railroads too, because once they're gone, you can make some money by selling them. Other things they did was when you added some air conditioning types, they would change the roofs to hide all the air conditioning ducts. And so they would streamline, or what we'll call stream styled in some cases, the roofs, where they would cover all the air conditioning ducts, make them rounded over, and they would look better with some of the streamlined cars that had come out as well. And so these kind of features were mixed and matched by a lot of the railroads. So for example, Southern and RFP did that on their cars. Southern
That's
did
cool.
Southern actually, had the rounded windows, but RFP kept their old windows. A lot of times, railroads would just do what they thought was really necessary to make things match or to look better or to do what they needed to do.
So RFP added air conditioning, but kept the opening windows.
Actually, they sealed them up, but they didn't change them to the rounded thermopane.
The same window fixture. That's really funny.
They use the same window fixtures.
Exactly.
RFP, baby.
Yeah, I mean their passenger service was probably dwindling by that time.
And also what ended up happening was when you went into commute service, you weren't necessarily going as fast or having to have as decent a ride, for example, as you would on mainline services. So
like a long distance train.
Yeah, so you would take the old 6-wheel trucks, put them on something that was going to go long distance, and swap them out for 4-wheel trucks. So the Commonwealth 4-wheel truck was something that we never offered before on a car, and we do have now. And so just like the railroads, we're able to do mix and match, put them together, make up the cars that actually were done by the railroads. And so, for example, in the cases of the nickel plate and even the Boston and Albany, where they kept their clerestory roof, they kept their sliding windows, but they kept changing the trucks out every now and then too. So B&A actually had both of these running at the same time.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So if you look at the order form here, you have an option of 6-wheel trucks for B&A and an option for 4-wheel trucks.
It's unique that it's the same footprint, like the car is the same, and they just change the trucks. It's pretty cool.
It makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and so the railroads went and did a lot of different variations on these cars. And, our new tooling here, the new roofs, the new window lines, and the new truck allow us to bring that to the customers now as well. And so looking forward to doing even more types of changes as we go along, because, of course, the paired window coaches also have to be looked at soon. So.
Ultra cool. Yeah, no, I think I might. I'm not a Southern modeler, but I might grab one of these Southern ones because it's got the thermal windows and the streamlined roof. That looks really unique.
The nickel plate ones are like, I don't even know who did if anyone did those. I have no idea. It's such an underrepresented railroad for passenger cars.
Since he's been talking, I've seen more and more full-length heavyweight coaches with the 4-axle trucks. Because I always thought it was just the Suburbans, with the 4. No, there is full-length heavyweights with 4-axle trucks.
Not the 60-footers or whatever.
Even like say when you got to the longer heavyweights, you could still do a 4-wheel truck as long as you weren't going in to seriously high-speed service. Because 6-wheel trucks distributed the weight better, and it was a bit of a smoother ride. But in most cases, the 4 wheels work really, really well.
Yeah, no, and these passenger cars, for anybody that's not familiar with Atlas heavyweight passenger cars, they're super detailed. They're really, really nice models. So when you see that price point, don't be alarmed. They're top of really, really nice. All your details, all your underbody details. It's they're really good looking models. Can't say enough about them.
And there's so many different types of locomotives that have pulled these cars.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. And the CF-7.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to get touristy with it, you can
put a steam engine,
the nickel
diesel,
plate, and the B&A. They kind of look good for
anything.
Freelancing.
There you go.
No, but thank you,
cars.
Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, no problem.
Your wealth of information.
Thanks.
All right, we'll catch up with you later, Scott. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
See you.
And then we move on.
That guy knows so much about passenger cars.
He knows. Yeah, he does. He's passenger car extraordinaire.
The guy. He's the guy. But we'll move on. We have the ACF Pressureaide covered hopper.
This time in HO. So
Same schemes.
If you watched earlier, we talked about these in N scale. It's a duplicate of the same schemes in N scale. So I'll just run through it really quickly. Aka's Noble. I can't say it. Amazo. Amazo is cool because they got the grain logo. And, it means corn in Spanish. And then we got Cypress, fluid cracking catalytics, the Montana Talc Company, as we were talking about for the N scale portion. Pressureaides are infamous for carrying flour, talcum powder, any sort of fine, floury type of powder.
Yep, slightly above atmospheric pressure just to help it.
Just to blast it out. Because if these commodities were in a gravity-based hopper, they would just get stuck.
Yep.
You'd have to poke it the whole entire. So with the Pressureaide, you can blast it outside of the car. So it's really for the unloading. It's nothing to do with the loading. It's all about how these cars are unloaded, which makes it a Pressureaide. And then we have the Andersons, which is for you modern guys. You see the conspics on there. It's going to be a little bit faded. You see the blues faded compared to the Amazo. And then to end it, we have Crest Star, which was really, really popular back in the 90s. Crest Stars were everywhere. So that's your HO Pressureaides.
All right, we have the HO Extended and Standard Vision Caboose, very similar to the N scale run.
I think it's exactly the same.
Could be exactly the same. We'll run through it real quick. Expo 86 BC Rail, looking great in red, white, and blue. Burlington Northern Conspec stripes. Chassis system, Conrail, shared assets.
Shared assets.
Lovely. We have the DOD X with Conspec stripes. A very inconspicuous car there.
Yeah, I think this is a nuclear flask one.
Yes.
So they have ones that follow the nuclear missile train. They have ones that go on regular, military trains. Number 500 here. No, 900. Excuse me. 900 here was on the P&W lot and followed the nuclear flask that went to the submarine base. So
you're saying that my U23B could go with this caboose?
Yes, your P&W U23B could pair with that caboose.
A lot of good pairings in this catalog. I love it. We have the DuPont. Stay tuned for more DuPont products in the future with this lovely paint scheme.
I see a bunch of ones we could do with that.
Awesome.
So that'd be
Family lines, which also goes well with your U23B. Seaboard sublettering. Mass Coastal, really happy to bring this scheme to light. I don't know the last time.
We'll be doing more Mass Coastal.
Have we ever done Mass Coastal?
I
don't
got some
know.
locos we can do.
They have a great scheme. It's just cool.
Yeah.
We have the Union Pacific or the Denver Rio Grande Pikes Peak Historical Society repaint. Shout out to that Historical Society. Did a fabulous job with that caboose. Turned an ugly duckling into quite a lovely
it was all
shoving
graffitied,
platform.
ragtag, and beat up. And,
now it looks nice.
Now it's a nice feature of Silver Springs when you go to visit.
Almost looks like a tourist railroad piece of equipment.
I think when I was reading about it, what really hung them up on it was it was sitting on the end, when you enter town.
Yeah.
And it was all graffiti in there, and they didn't so I don't, it's a good thing they did.
It's a great can-do attitude, and it turned out really sharp with the windows black because it's a shoving platform.
Oh, I'm so silly.
There it is.
We were.
Did our camera die?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
We're still here.
Awesome. All right. So that's the extended vision. So we'll move on to the standard vision cabooses. We have two former N&W offerings here. NS with the large NS and Conspec stripes. And Belvedere and Delaware River number 595. Near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, especially New Jersey. I've been riding this thing since I was a kid.
I think every Atlas employee is going to pre-order one of those.
I'm getting a couple. Okay. Don't tell my wife.
Don't tell. Yeah, you got to hand them out to friends too.
But we'll move on. We have the Trainman HO Bulkhead flat cars, and oh boy, that's an Ashley Drew Northern car.
That is an Ashley Drew Northern car. And what's funny? The next one, Columbia Silver Creek Railroad, acquired by the Ashley Drew Northern.
So you want to know who told me that? That same.
You still had the Pressureaide page.
You're 10 minutes too late. Yeah, I know. I mean, we figured it out.
Got it. Thank you. So we have the, he told me that was actually the same guy told me about the CF-7s, the stripes. He was like, and I was like, I didn't know that.
They started with the Columbia Silver Creek Railroad.
And he said, wait a minute. He's like, I was shocked that you were doing Ashley Drew Northern. And then he's like, I saw Columbia and Silver Creek. I was like, I got to get all 6. And he bought all 6. I was like, that's crazy. But shout out to him. He's really nice.
Then we got the Procore. That's cool. That's a Canadian leaser. Yeah, nice little color on that one. And we have Hollis Eastern for you modern guys with the Conspic stripes.
That's really cool.
For you ultra modern guys, this Southern Parts and Equipment one.
The half bulkhead.
Everybody's wondering what the heck is Southern Parts and Equipment. New company, I think 2023. They have all these specialized pieces of equipment, and they had a half bulkhead. So Mr. Cody Booker included it in his run.
Half bulks that's cool.
Half bulks are cool. We always get requests for more and more half bulkheads.
Well, we did Mo. Now we're doing an HO.
Yeah. For a while, we didn't run them, and then they started going like crazy prices on eBay and stuff like that. And we're like, oh, we need to rerun these half bulks. Speaking of reruns, Union Pacific, full bulkhead. Everybody can use a little UP for our UP guys. Also, ultra modern, TTX forward thinking logo. Not the same paint scheme as the last run. It's actually it's different data, different Conspic locations, even a different size forward thinking logo. So nice. If you bought a TTX bulkhead in the last run, this run will have it's slightly different than the forward thinking.
You're gonna need that one too.
Yeah. Give you reason to order, and then ended up a TTX half bulkhead. These sell particularly well. Everybody loves them. And yeah, the half bulkheads are really for like steel loads, so it's heavier than lumber. You don't need a full bulkhead, and I know people ask, why do you need a half bulkhead? So usually when you see a picture of a half bulkhead, it has some sort of aluminum or rebar load on it, where it's just heavier than a traditional bulkhead load, and you don't need all that height.
Nice.
Yeah.
But we'll move on. We have the HO Trainman 68-foot flat cars. A couple schemes here. This is an awesome car.
There we go.
Is it back?
That's the product we're talking about.
There we go. All right, so Southern Parts and Equipment, SPEX. So with Conspecs, it looks really cool. We have the TTX or TTMX. That's an awesome car there. And then as well as the heavily requested Department of Defense, DODX cars. I think there isn't a train show that I go to that someone...
We always get requests for these.
So we have them in O-scale. You have them in Trainman and HO. It is an awesome price point for an awesome car.
It is.
Scale sizing, it fits right in.
And these, even though it's Trainman, these cars look really, really nice.
Fantastic.
They're sweet cars. And
they're fantastic cars.
Similar to the TTX I was talking about with the bulkheads, these flat cars, you say, why is that a new scheme? Because the data is mixed up. It's not the same as the previous runs. We made it unique per road number. So if you bought a TTX flat car in a previous run, this one will look slightly different. So when you put them next to each other, you'll be like, oh, these are different.
Whoa.
Yeah. Everybody likes different freight. You don't want the same.
No, you got to have differences. Yeah, you got to have
even in unit trains, there's little differences.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of different, we have the Ford F-350 high railer.
Very highly. This is like, it kind of got stuck in there towards the back, but it's a highly anticipated announcement. I saw people on social media freaking out about this.
Heavy hitters in the same catalog.
They were rejoicing Atlas is doing high railers.
So this is the former River Point Tooling. This is our second offering. Yeah.
Let's ask Scott. Scott, you still there?
I am.
Is this a second offering, or is this our
third for River Point trucks?
River Point 350s?
It would either be the second or the third. I cannot remember off the top of my head on that.
I'm going to say the second for more shock value.
There you go. Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. And first time ever with the utility bed.
Exactly. And the nice thing is, for owners of River Point Station vehicles already, these have been designed out to be fleeted with the things you already have. And so if you've already bought, let's say, the standard pickup bed or some of the CN ones with the big booms on them, these also go directly with that and will match up very nicely. So you can start building your overall railroad fleets.
Very cool.
Yeah, the high rail go like trades around, and they're like Legos.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Nice. All right, thank you, Scott.
Sure.
Yeah. Bye, Scott.
But moving right along, we have quite some really, really good offerings in here. Like some cool
Scott
schemes.
did a really good job with his road name selection. These I don't see, these are
Hip.
I could say I could use every one of these.
Yeah, these are what the kids would need.
Yeah. Those millennials with their BNSF H4. So, BNSF, CN, Conrail shared assets. Don't get it mixed up, guys. These are everywhere around New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia area. Canadian Pacific, CSX, Metra, licensed. Because our mic still works. And we're back.
These look nice.
They do look nice. So if I hear anybody making fun of these Fubies on the forums, we're going to come get you. Because these are tasteful, cool Fubies that we love. So yeah, the New Haven ones, you got the CT dot logo on there. Very cool. How it would be, if New Haven was operating today. Commuter service, at least. And then the same thing with the Southern Pacific. We got the Southern Pacific. This is kind of how SP had their gallery cars with the two-tone gray. And we have the SP Lines logo. The number series kind of comes off of like extension of Caltrain number series. So it's like California transportation numbers. It's all of these little inside things kind of went into this. And it's we're really happy to offer it because it's just these will look really, really cool as running around. You got your Southern Pacific MP36, you got the matching commuter cars. They'll
fit right in with your SP or New Haven collection.
Yeah.
You got some standalone cars as well as cab cars, and they come in 3-packs with a cab car and 2 coaches. So you have a pretty good variety for road numbers, and you can make a whole train. You can make a little scoot set if you want. So it's pretty cool.
I would love to see whole trains of these. These would be
whole trains.
Be very cool. And then
I'd also love to see a C&J variant of these.
MP36
that's another conversation for another.
Pair it up elephant style in there too, because they're not the most powerful engines.
No, they're not
in real life. All right,
but we'll move right along. We have our N scale and HO signals. These are often requested every train show we go to. So
yes,
glad they're back.
This is these are all new, right?
Yeah. New signals. We have
Scott says, "Yep, all new." I didn't see that normal Atlas Starburst saying all new on the page. So I was like,
no, they are all new. Yeah.
We
all hooded modern, built basically on the same scaling as the HO, only smaller, which is actual scaling. So the lenses are a scale 8 inches around. pretty much all the standard types, left-right singles, left-right doubles, and the bidirectional intermediate signals are available now.
I'm going to be buying a ton of these because I just converted
you would as soon as you switched over to N-scale.
I switched over to the dark side.
Not me though.
N-scaler. You have a kid and you get no more space anymore. It's all
there. You go.
You know.
And then even for HO, there's stuff that people have been requesting. Just the Searchlight heads are now available. So if you're looking to fix a signal that has died or create a different type of bracket for a specific setup, those are there. Those again are the 3-color Searchlight signal, as well as the ground dwarf, an H2 style unit switch and signal dwarf. Again, 3 color signal.
That's a great price for a 2-pack of dwarves.
For a 2-pack of dwarves, yeah. Cheap at half the price. Or cheap at half the size, depending on how you look at it.
Oh. Sounds like the black market with the
there you go.
People. No, yeah, that's very, very cool.
When you're starting to lay out things like, interlockings or other types of interesting signal configurations, which are capable within the ILS all-scale signal system. So bring in the dwarves, bring back the heads to do your own types of masts or replace ones that have died perhaps from overuse, as well as the new N-scale signals. Keep your eyes open for other scales and other types of signals coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing line, and we're happy to bring these to market. And
that's the N-scale offering is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
To have modern signals and this detail level that's great. That's really, really cool. I'm definitely going to get a pile of these because they're modern, up my alley.
And they are indeed powered and work with the all-scale signal system. So it all does light up. They're not just static models.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that concludes our announcements for our HO&N summer catalog. I'm going to take 2 seconds and look at some comments.
In the meantime, HO&N, again, the pre-order period, it ends Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Again, August 27th, 2025.
There you go. Says on the top there.
Yes, it does. Says it on the top, says it in the back, all around. Make sure to get your pre-orders into the dealer of your choice. We want to make sure everyone gets the models. There's not many extras anymore, especially for engines like the CF-7.
No, we
very lean.
We produce to our order quantity. So, if your dealer doesn't believe in ordering extras or whatever, and it's tight. So we get what we get orders for, and we make what we get orders for.
Yep. So anything in there that you see that you like, make sure to go to your nearest Atlas authorized dealer by August 27th, 2025, and get your pre-orders in. Super important. So we'll go over some comments here. I can't see them because I don't have my glasses.
I see them. So Michael says, still no mark for MP36 as an HO scale.
Hey, that's a great question, Michael. We kind of touched upon that subject before, but it all comes down to licensing. We can't make a model that we don't have any licensing for commuter agencies.
If you know anybody at Mark that's willing to help us with a license, send them our way. And not just us, any model manufacturer, because nobody can get in contact to properly reproduce Mark trademarks.
But we would love to do a Mark MP36, obviously the right way with the right avenues that we can do it with. It's an awesome engine. It'd be great, but we
they're
can't
one
do
of the well-known owners of MP36s. But we don't want to do it without their permission.
Thank you for the question and comment.
That's what it comes down to.
Next,
let's see what we got here. Quick question. Not complaining. Yes, it'll be warm white instead of that. It was like
cooler.
It was like a blue white before. Yeah. Now
but the LEDs are changed to warm white. As we alluded to before, we were going through the presentation. We do monitor social media. We go on the forums. We like to see feedback. Some of the best schemes we do are from feedback, and some of the best features that we do from feedback. So thank you.
Just going through everything else.
Some good ones in there.
People are happy about the Finger Lakes.
Finger Lakes, see? You guys thought I was crazy.
Someone else is doing the matching 40s. Yeah, that's where that's the goal. What else we got? No, it just looks like a
lot of yay.
No undecorated CF-7 in this run.
That's a great comment. Undecks honestly don't sell that well.
No, I mean, I understand why you're asking because you need them, but from a manufacturer's standpoint, we get like it's a
8.
dozen orders.
It's like 8 to 12
or 6 pieces of if you want Undex to come back, you really need to clamor to your dealers and get your dealers start ordering at least like 1 piece of Undeck per order. Because
but that being said, if there is some kind of dealer that there's a special run of it, like you want to get like X amount of pieces of an Undeck, would surely do that.
Because it just doesn't make sense for us to tell our factories, hey, we need 1 case of undecorated. And you guys you'll say like, oh, but it's no paint, no part. They still got to make sure all the parts are there. They got to put the item number on it. They still got to set it aside and do their own unique thing for it, because it is a unique SKU that they have to make, and it's not as easy as just throwing parts in a bag.
But I mean, that argument could be made for not just the CF-7, but the 38s, the 40s, the GP7.
Yeah,
and I totally understand that. But if there's enough of a fan base for it, maybe there could be like some kind of painted but just not lettered or something of that feature. But
so it boils down to, for us, it just doesn't make sense. And if everybody gets together, because I know there's a market for it, but just we're not seeing it. So talk to your dealers, inform them, hey, Atlas will do Undex if we see a big need for it. But
it'd make my life a lot easier.
No, we can't submit orders for 6 pieces of Undex, unfortunately, as much as we all need them.
But good question.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we talked about it, because that's something that people just assume, I'll pick up an Undeck when they come out. And
historically, there's been a lot of Undeck. Like that used to be the runs. Even when I started, there were Undecks, certain categories. But when you look at the numbers of them, it's like 8 versus 30 and 40. And so, but are there any other comments you see there?
Let's see, going down. What's there? Okay, he's happy about it.
Oh, is he? What is he happy about?
Keep up the Finger Lake stuff.
Thank you.
Hey, if you've got pictures of
Finger
Lake, send them along.
The Finger Lakes is hot right now. There's a lot of activity up there, but they have cool schemes too.
Oh, I think that was one of the comments. Somebody wanted heavyweights in Finger Lake.
Photograph. If somebody's got photos, please send them along. Let's go
to
atlasrr.com.
Yeah, send it R&D or info@atlasr.com, and we'll send it to the proper channels. High-res photos. We love high-res photos.
Yeah, the full thing. Yeah,
send them. Like a lot of schemes, through the many scales, they come from suggestions like this, or when we go to train shows, they show us pictures and they send it to us, and that's how they get the ball rolling.
Yeah, so keep your suggestions coming, and
or nerds like us that like Finger Lakes.
We are. Yeah, we're trainers just like you guys. We get excited about all this, and we're happy to do upgrades. And something I didn't mention, but it's pictured in the front cover, is for the first time, every Atlas locomotive and this HO locomotive in this catalog will be coming with metal couplers.
You hear that? You hear that,
3
Jesse?
Locomotives.
You hear that, Jesse? Y-Bridge? I told you. Metal couplers. We listen. We can listen.
Yep. So U23B, the CF-7, MP36, all 3 of them will be made with metal couplers on them.
But again, the comments at train shows, we really appreciate when people come up to us and give us honest feedback, and it's things that we can take back to the team and discuss. And that's one of those things. So,
all right, guys.
That's it. Again, August 27th to get your pre-orders in. Please go to your dealer and get those pre-orders in August 27th. Yes, please.
All right. Thank you, guys. Catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.